Hi, everyone, and welcome to Consciousness is Sexy. I'm your host, Patty Alfonso. Our topic for today is, do you have a healing body? And if you are a healer or any kind of body worker, are you including your body in your work? It's maybe a short show today because I ended up following the energy to an event here in Denver, and I kind of snuck out just to hang out with you guys for a little bit here. I was inspired to talk about this topic for lots and lots of reasons. I just finished up a sexual consciousness class, and there was a lot of talk about your body and having a healing body and being a healer. So it inspired me to talk to you guys about that as well. And then I was looking at this from the point of view that Access looks at having a healing body. And the truth is, I've been doing energy work for over 10 years. And I went to energy healing school. I don't know if some of you know that. I went to energy healing school for about 4 years before I started doing Access Consciousness. And I learned a lot of techniques and a lot of different modalities and a lot of different things. And what I love the most about the tools of Access Consciousness is the ways in which that we include the body, not only in our journey towards consciousness, but also in the body work that we do. And I was kind of looking at this recently. I remember my first Symphony of Possibilities class, which was, 4 years ago maybe. And I remember having the awareness that wow, this is actually this Symphony of Possibilities, this energy is like a whole body energy for me. When I did the work that I was doing in energy healing school, it was, there was just something really different about it. I don't know that I really have the words to describe, but what I do know is that when you include your body in your work, whether it's creating your life or if you're a healer and you have a business, when you include your body, it actually exponentializes everything. And so when I really started including my body in the symphony sessions that I was doing, the sessions just were so much more life-changing. And I know that I talk a lot about including your body in your life. I mean, that is part of my, my mission, my target here with consciousness is to invite people to really include their bodies even more in what it is that they're creating. And that's including all of the energies of your body. When I was in energy healing school, we were actually really, truly encouraged to cut off our sexual energies when working with a client. And we had to kind of put that to the side and just shut that off and not pay attention to that and don't even go there. They even asked us, I think, to shut off our intuition. Anyway, it was insanity now that I look back on it, on everything that I learned, to shut off any part of yourself when you're working with someone or working on someone is in my interesting point of view right now, complete and total insanity. And so in working with the tools of Access Consciousness and the symphony sessions and the maestro sessions and working with Dain, we all know that he is this amazing, just magnificent man, and the way that he embodies all of the energies, his sexualness and his sexual energy and the contribution. If you've never had a session with him, try it out. It's amazing. But he doesn't cut off any parts of him. And that, I think, is one of the things that I am so grateful for with the tools of Access, is the permission to have all of me and include all of me in everything that I'm doing. So anywhere any of you may have cut off any part of you to satisfy someone else's idea of how they think you should be doing something, can we destroy and uncreate that? Yes, I'm getting thumbs up. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I'm just perceiving the energy of I'm going to meet some people. I'm just perceiving the energy of the sort of before, when I was in energy healing school and learning all of that, and the after now, having included the tools of access and having the permission and the allowance to include my body in everything. And there is such an energetic difference in that. And as a body worker, whether you do massage or any energy work or anything like that, the contribution that your body can be to your work, the contribution that your body and your client's body can be to each other in that gifting and receiving of energy, that is part of what is going to create the most magical transformational change. If you're cutting yourself off from anything, then you're not, I think about the first time I ever saw Dain speak I think it was probably like my first foundation class in Los Angeles, California. And I was lucky enough to choose my first foundation to be with, Gary, and Dain was there. And I remember he must have been doing like a Being You, an introduction class or something. And I remember watching him on stage and like, I was like, wow, that's how I be. Like I'm this, crazy, energetic, any energy, any moment, willingness to be anything in any moment. And I was like, that's how I used to be. Like, when did I shut that off? When did I stop being all of that? And I remember being so inspired by that. And it was actually such a gift because, as some of you know, I was just I'm still here in Denver, but I was here in Denver to speak at an event, and someone came up to me after my speech and they said those very same words to me of like, I was watching you on stage being everything and being whatever was required and being silly and funny and not caring. And I remember when I was like that, and I was so honored and so grateful for the tools of access, for Dain, for everything that this is creating. And so grateful to my body that has stayed with me no matter how much I tried to shut her down, no matter how much I tried to squash her down or make her small, she hung in there with me. And now I'm in this place of really being willing to embody everything. And now I get to be that gift, for someone else. And so what gift are you willing to be for the people in your life and the people around you? And anything that doesn't allow you to just be that gift and choose it, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, mounds. If you're new to the show and you don't know what this is that I'm doing, it's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. It's a magic wand. You ask a question, energy comes up, and then you use the clearing statement to change it. And if you have any questions about that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. So does anyone have any questions about what I have said so far? You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. Yes. Hi, Cheryl. Do you have a question, or are you just adjusting your camera?
I'm just joining.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Okay. No worries. Okay. So what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your bodies be to perceive, know, be, and receive and embody the infinite being that you truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And anywhere and everywhere that you've cut off any part of you in your everyday life. Like, forget just if you're a body worker or you're a healer and you're doing that kind of work. Anywhere you've done that in any part of your life, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. in the sexual consciousness class that we just wrapped up, there was a lot of questions about being a sexual healer. And now I think I put out a little video about this, but I'm going to repeat it here just in case you guys haven't seen it. But I remember the first time someone asked me if I was a sexual healer, and I had all of these judgments come up about that. And I was like, oh my God, he's so weird. How could he ask me that? And it wasn't Dain. And this guy, and I just was like totally shut down. And like, I practically ran away from this guy who is now a very dear friend of mine. And, but that sort of opened the conversation. And now as I look back on that and I become aware of all of the judgments that I had around that, now it sort of, well, it began with my whole family and being shut down and that energy not really being allowed, but also in energy healing school where we were specifically told to not be that energy and not have that energy, and to make sure that, you know, you put that energy aside and nothing inappropriate can happen, and you know, all these like judgments and projections and expectations. And so in looking back now and in having this sexual consciousness class and being able to openly talk about being a sexual healer and what that is. And for those of you that don't know, you may, if you're a person who is constantly choosing people to have relationships with or sex with or whatever that require a lot of healing, that are kind of a little bit, you know, cray in the head maybe, then you may want to ask if you're a sexual healer, because what happens is that you have this ability to create, to like remove from their universe, remove from their body, whatever it is that is limiting them. And then they feel great and they feel awesome. And then you feel like crap. Because if you're not aware that you have this capacity, if you're not aware that your body has this capacity, then you kind of take it all in. And like I said, you end up feeling like crap and destroying your life and killing your body and all this stuff if you don't really choose to have awareness in this area. And so that's part of also what came up around this topic of like having a healing body and being a healer. And I was so grateful again for the tools of Access Consciousness that I could have this conversation in that sexual consciousness class without any judgment, like, and just really truly acknowledging the capacities that I have, that my body has. And then it was so interesting to me, like, I knew this topic had energy to it, but I don't think I really realized, you know, like when you kind of get something and you sort of take it for granted and then you say it to someone else and it's kind of normal to you. And then the other people are like, oh no, what do you mean? And I'm just like, oh, I was in that place too of like, what are they talking about? And what is that? And what do you mean sexual healing? And what do you mean your body has healing capacities? So anyway, it's been a really interesting journey exploring all of this and asking your body, you know, to show you what are the capacities that your body has. You know, what can your body contribute to whatever it is, whether it's your money flows or your relationships or whatever it is that's going on in your life. Like, body, what do you know about this? And start really uncovering that capacities. Our bodies are these amazing, amazing beings. I just want to call my body a being because it's, you know, and what would it take to include all of our bodies in everything that we do, including those sexual energies and including, you know, the elements of sex and the elements of intimacy, including all of that with your body. I just want to check in and see if anyone has any questions. You can go ahead and pop it in the chat because I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I was saying, for those of you that came a little bit late, I kind of followed the energy to another event in Denver. So this may be a quick little short show for us today, unless you have any questions, because I got to get back in the room. So ask your body. Ask your body, what are your capacities? What do you know about this? Body, show me my healing capacities. I remember, it's interesting to like to be able to acknowledge this for yourself, because I remember when my body first started awakening and I really started stepping into what my capacities are with my body, and I would like sit next to someone in a class or something, and then all of a sudden they were having this like big release or this big transformation, and then they'd go and Dain would call them on the table and like their whole life would change and all that. And then I'd be like, I'd be like, did I contribute to that? Like I sat next to them and I talked to them and, did I? And so would you be willing to notice, pay attention, and claim, own, and acknowledge any and all contributions that you've been to the bodies around you? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. It started happening so often that I actually couldn't not acknowledge it for myself, And like, I'm also noticing now, and look, I'm telling you guys this because if I had talked about this 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd have been like, no way. So I'm not trying to show off. I'm telling you guys this from the space of total possibility. Like, what else is possible for you? Because if I got here and I'm here somehow, I know that it's possible for other people, because I was so shut down and so insane in this area. But what I'm noticing now is that most of you guys know I travel a lot and I don't have like a home base at the moment. I'm kind of going from place to place and following the energy, and everywhere that I go, like I've been in Denver and I'm staying with Catherine McIntosh, and we were doing some clearings one night, and then we saw on Facebook the next day that there was an earthquake in Denver, and I was like, oh. And then I was in Florida for a little while and I was doing some clearings and I was working with my friend Rihanna and we were doing some stuff in the Caribbean, and then there was a hurricane. And I was like, oh, so it's like happening more and more now that I'm like, okay, this cannot be denied. Like clearly I have some capacities like with the earth. So what capacities do you have that you have not been willing to claim, own, and acknowledge? And anything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive them, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So how much fun can you have playing with your body and discovering what your body has to gift and to offer, not only to you, but to the people around you and to the earth? I've been working a lot with clients lately about allowing your body to receive contribution from the earth as well as gifting, but just receiving. Like, and I was re-listening to an energetic synthesis at an ESC. I forgot what it means. I was listening to an ESC from Dain, and he was talking about like, ask the earth, what does she know about you and your body? Ask the earth about how she perceives you and your contribution to her. And I think he said that like in the foundation in Houston, whatever the last recent one was. And I remember hearing that. And I guess that's what I've been choosing, since hearing that, is like really asking the earth and being really present with the earth, with my body. And I guess she's talking back. So what would it take? What would it take for you to have that level of communion with the earth and that level of communion with your body? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. I've got Cheryl big in my screen here, so she keeps like nodding, and I'm like, okay, someone's listening. Last one to join is the one that gets to be big on my screen here. So, what else? What would you like to know? Do you have any questions? If not, I'm seriously going to stop it here because I'm really curious about what's going on at this event over here. I'm here and I was just kind of like, I got here and I was supposed to go back to Florida. And then I was like, man, it's kind of not light to go back to Florida. It's light to stay here. I don't know how long I'll be here, but it's just light. So I'm just following the energy, and like one magical thing after the other has been being created. So, and I randomly ended up here today. So, well, not randomly, you create your reality. So let's see, I have a question. So hi, Patty. Earlier you said something about the willingness to be any energy. Can you say more about when I may be cutting that off. Well, are you? Are you cutting off that energy? And would you be willing to perceive, know, be, and receive where you're doing that, and then make a different choice? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all 9 shorts, boys, beyond. She says, yes, thanks. For this, like, for 10,000 things at once, I think, like, what's coming to mind is the tool of light and heavy, and perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving when things are light for you and when they're heavy for you. And also being willing to perceive like that contraction and noticing, okay, in this contraction, am I shutting myself off from something? Because there's light and heavy, follow the energy. Light is true for you, heavy is not true for you, follow the lightness. But there's also the space of like, we talked a little bit about this in the sexual consciousness class. Like people started noticing when certain topics would come up, their bodies would contract and their bodies would actually kind of do this sort of thing. And so would you be willing to be really present with your body and allow your body to contribute information about the places where you may be cutting off your energy? So if your body is contracting and you're pulling away, or you're just be really present and aware with your body. Let her contribute to you. And then in those moments, we talked a lot about like aggressive presence, like being really present with every single moment and with every single energy. And in that aggressive presence, when you notice your body contract and you notice yourself pulling out, okay, what else is possible here? Breathing, lowering your barriers, expanding your energy out, getting really present, sort of pushing that zone of you out and away, and really like breathing and getting present and expanding out. And noticing, what am I cutting off here? Like, what am I not willing to be aware of? What energies am I not willing to be here? And I was having this conversation with Catherine a little while ago. There's a difference between like the willingness to be or do anything and actually having to do it. Like, am I willing to defend my life to the death? You know, like if someone is going to assault me or kill me, am I willing to be the killer energy and take care of myself? Absolutely. Am I going to do that in every single situation of my life? No. Am I willing to be any single energy required? It doesn't necessarily mean that I may choose it. Like, am I willing to be mean? Yeah. Is that my first choice? No. Not at all. But if you're mean to me consistently over and over again, and that is the energy that's required to change the situation, I will choose it. Does that make sense? So there's the willingness to be something, and then there's the choosing of being that energy. So are you willing to be any energy that's required? And in the moment, you actually have choice rather than you're cutting off yourself from other choices. And with your body, are you willing to be any energy with your body? And what would you like to choose? And what will that choice create? Yeah, cool. Awesome. Anything else? We're 25 minutes in. I'm going to run unless anyone else has any questions. Thank you all so much for being here and for showing up and saying yes. And how does it get better? If you have any curiosity about my upcoming Being a Sexual Healer call, it's happening next week. We've got a ton of people that are joining us. I'm so excited for that class. And so very, I'm just going to claim, own, and acknowledge how far I've come in this journey with being present with sexual energies and opening up and letting go of judgments. Because 3 years ago, I would not have done a class like that at all. Let's see. She says, yes, awesome. Thanks for taking the time to explain. Much appreciated. My pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to ask the question and be vulnerable. And how does it get better than this? I adore you all infinitely. I'm so grateful for you. Have an amazing day. The replay will go out soon. I think it's tomorrow. Anyway, I got to get back into the room. You guys are awesome. Have a great day. Message me, email if you have any questions. Join the Consciousness is Sexy Facebook group. How does it get better? I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye, Art.